Have you ever tried to explain what it feels like to just be conscious? It's almost impossible, right? It's like trying to describe water while you're drowning. The very thing you're using, language, is already part of the flood you're trying to talk about. So yeah, let's dive into this. Because today, we're getting into one of the biggest challenges of being human. How do you even begin to talk about the constant, nonstop flow of your own mind? And this, right here, this is the heart of it. It's the central paradox. Before you can even think the word I, something is already there. There's this current of feelings, sensations, half-formed thoughts. The second you slap a word on it, you've changed it. You've drawn a map, sure, but you're not actually in the wild territory anymore. So where do we even start? We start with a metaphor, a big one, powerful enough to hold this whole messy idea. Think of your consciousness as a stream. But, and this is the key, you are both the water rushing forward and the person being carried away by it. You're the flood and you're the victim of the flood, all at once. This is the feeling we're going to try to unpack today. Now, to navigate this, we are not going in alone. No way. We've got three guides, three literary masters who pretty much dedicated their lives to mapping this exact unsayable thing. They all took completely different routes, but they were all trying to get to the same place, that shoreless, endless ocean of consciousness. So each of these authors had their own unique toolkit. Virginia Woolf, she is subtraction. She'd strip everything away to get to the pure flicker of a moment, what she called the performance of being conscious. James Joyce, he did the exact opposite. He used accumulation, just piling on every single tiny detail to show you the indiscriminate flood of what's going on in someone's head. And then you've got Clarice Lispector, who was after something else entirely, disillusion. She wanted to dissolve language to get to the it, that raw, pre-verbal stuff of being. Okay, so how does any of this actually look in, real life? Well, to figure that out, we're going to follow a character. We'll just call her Elena through one totally ordinary day. We'll use our three guides to see what's really going on inside her head, starting from the very first moment. And so the day begins. Waking up, it's the most basic thing we do. But it's never just a clean switch from off to on, is it? It's messy. It's this gradual, clumsy surfacing from the deep. It's imperfect because, well, we're imperfect. And right here, in this one moment, you can see all three of our perspectives at work. So through Woolf's eyes, Elena wakes up to the quality of the light. It's not just light, it's a specific September light that already feels a little sad, like it's mourning the end of summer. For Joyce, it's all physical. The body wakes up first. Her bladder is full. She hears the specific pitch of her city's traffic before her brain is even caught up. And for Lispector, the most important part is the gap, that tiny split second where something, and it, is awake, before the identity, before the name Elena, rushes in to claim it. So, after the whole morning ritual, the tea, the staring at her own face in the mirror, she finally steps out. She leaves her private world and enters the city. The journey of the day begins. She walks. This is pure, 100% Virginia Woolf. For her characters, walking through a city isn't something you do while you think. No, the walking is the thinking. The rhythm of her feet on the pavement becomes the rhythm of her thoughts. The outside world is literally feeding her inner world. What this really means is that the line between inside and outside just dissolves. The smell from a bakery, the weird echo in an underpass, seeing a couple argue in a corner, those aren't just background noise. For that moment, they are her consciousness. They are the water in the stream. And now Elena gets to the office, and the whole stream, the whole current, it changes completely. This is where her rich, chaotic, messy inner life smacks right up against the sterile, ordered world of corporate jargon. And the gap between the two is huge. I mean, just look at this. On one hand, you have the language she has to use, this empty, functional business speak designed to kill any real meaning. And on the other hand, you have her actual lived experience, a quiet, beautiful little parallelogram of sunlight moving across a boring gray carpet. The job says focus on the first one, but her soul, her consciousness, is living in the second. And this huge gap, it brings us right back to Woolf's great novel, Mrs. Dalloway. Elena, in her day-to-day performance, is a lot like the main character, Clarissa. She's carefully managing her inner world to get by. But Clarissa has a kind of shadow self in the book, a war veteran named Septimus Smith who is completely overwhelmed by the flood of his own mind. Elena has that possibility inside her too. So you see, Clarissa takes all that chaos of being alive and she channels it. She hosts a party. She gives it structure, a performance. Septimus, on the other hand, he can't build those walls. For him, the stream just becomes this unbearable, drowning flood. Elena is Clarissa. She writes the email, she attends the meeting, she manages. But she always feels that Septimus is the other option, the other path. Finally, the workday is over. Elena walks home. And that performance she's been putting on all day long, it starts to unwind. The managed, public version of her begins to dissolve, and something else is finally allowed to come to the surface. The evening. It's when all the things you had to push down during the day just to function, just to get by, they're finally allowed to be felt. In the quiet privacy of her own apartment, that sadness she's been carrying around like a heavy coat is finally allowed to expand and fill the room. And let's be clear about this sadness. It's not because one specific bad thing happened. There is no single because. It's a condition, not an event. It's the slow, steady weight of all the days you've lived, piled one on top of the other. It's just the bone-deep tiredness that comes from being a stream that knows it's drowning, but has no choice but to keep on flowing. So when you're faced with this overwhelming, never-ending flood, what's the ultimate response? For that, we have to turn to James Joyce and to the legendary final words of his novel Ulysses. They're spoken by Molly Bloom, lying in bed, letting her own stream of consciousness just flow, completely free. But this yes is not a simple yes. It's not passive acceptance. It's an active, incredibly powerful acknowledgment of everything. She's not saying this is good or I agree with this. She's just saying this is. It's allowing the entire stream, the good parts, the bad, the memories, the mess, the flood, all of it without fighting it. It is the ultimate embrace. And that brings us back to our Elena. Is she there yet? Has she reached that epic, all-encompassing yes? No, not even close. Let's be real. Very few of us ever do. She's at the stage before that. Her victory isn't some grand resolution. It's something much quieter, and maybe just as heroic. She is still going. And that simple act of getting up and walking and working and coming home, that is its own kind of yes, isn't it? A provisional one. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. You know that voice in your head, the one that's constantly telling you the story of you? When that voice pauses, when all that narrative machinery goes quiet for just a second, what do you find in the silence? What is the raw stuff of your own stream before the words get to it? What's your it?